my 5th YouTube guitar lesson, and today I'm going to be talking about scales. And the first scale I'm going to talk about is the most common scale in Western music, the major scale. And we've already kind of touched on the major scale, and I've shown you some shapes to play it in some previous videos, so hopefully you've been watching along, and that'll make you a little more familiar with what we're about to do. But this is the C major scale, which is the equivalent of all your white keys on the keyboard. And this is the shape that I use, is a 3-note per string shape, which I find to be the most efficient. And this is what it looks like. And what makes this a major scale, and what distinguishes it from other scales, is its interval pattern. Each scale has a unique interval pattern. So no matter what key we play it in, as long as we play the same interval pattern, we'll be playing a major scale. And what an interval is the distance between any two given notes. In Western music, the shortest interval that you're generally going to use is a semitone, which on the guitar is represented by a distance of 1 fret. In the case, say for instance, we played the 7th fret on the high E string, one semitone up from that would be the 8th fret on the high E string, B to C, okay? And both of those notes, by chance, are part of our C major scale, and both would be white keys on the keyboard, okay? And to demonstrate the interval pattern of the C major scale, or the major scale in general, I should say, I'm going to show you a different key of the major scale, the A major scale, in what's called a linear form. And that means that we're going to play it on one string. And I'm going to do it with one finger first, and I'm going to call out the intervals so you can get the interval pattern. Starting on A, we have whole tone, whole tone, semitone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, semitone. And that last semitone brings us back to our root note, 1 octave higher, A. And that's the linear form. And as long as you count out a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, no matter what your starting point, you can figure out a major scale from any starting point. And it just takes a little thought process. The next scale we're going to talk about is the next most common scale in Western music, and that is the natural minor scale. And it's technically a mode of the C major scale. And what that means is it shares the same notes as C major, the white keys on the keyboard, but it has a different interval pattern, because in this case we're starting on A and not C. And in order to be A minor, you know, your root, your center, your tonal center has to be A and not C. And here's what A minor looks like. Alright, and now let me show you the linear form of A minor so you can get the interval pattern for A minor, okay? Starting on A, whole tone, semitone, whole tone, whole tone, semitone, whole tone, whole tone. And that brings us back to our root note of A. Okay? And again. So that's the linear form of A minor. Alright, the next scale I want to talk to you about is another very common scale in Western music, and a lot of blues and rock music particularly. And it's the pentatonic scale. And we'll start with the major pentatonic scale in the key of G, and that looks like this. Alright, the next scale I'm going to show you is related to the G, the pentatonic major, in the same way that the A natural minor was related to the C major scale earlier, in that they share the same group of notes, just on a different starting point, a different tonal center. In this case, it's going to be E minor, and that looks like this. hear that's referred to as the pentatonic box pattern a lot, and that's that. Alright, and the last scale I'm going to show you today is the harmonic minor scale. And we've talked about this scale in other lessons, and I've shown you some shapes for it before. Today I'm going to show you a different shape, starting on the 2nd fret on the D string, and this is an E harmonic minor scale. It looks like this. And let me show you the linear form of that, and we'll talk about the interval pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the linear form of the harmonic minor so we can get the interval pattern. And this is going to be E harmonic minor starting on the high E string, open, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, 1.5 steps, half step. And that brings us back to E, our root note. Alright, and what makes this unique compared to the natural minor scale is the interval between the 6th and 7th scale tones. That 1.5 step interval. And what happens there is this note's, the 7th is called the leading tone in the major scale, because being 1 step away from the root note, it pulls to the root note. If we do the B major chord, and then we play an E minor chord right after it, you can hear we're using the 7th here, in the B major chord it's the 3rd. So that would normally not be played in a natural minor scale, but in a harmonic minor scale we have this cadence that pulls us from B to E minor. Okay, and that's why the harmonic minor scale was invented, in order to achieve that cadence that's normally only occurring in a major scale. Alright, and that's all for this lesson. Thanks for tuning in once again.